Hi, my name is Jacob Johnson, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a type of technology that has helped to revolutionize the entire industry in recent years. Something that most of you will be familiar with, and some of you may even use it in your daily lives. What is it, you may ask? It is electronic ink. Thanks to having a background in chemistry, I was able to better understand the technology behind electronic ink while doing my research. Also, as an avid reader, I have had a device that used electronic ink for years, so I'm familiar with the technology. To educate you on electronic ink, first I will talk about the origins of it and how it was developed. Then I'll go into what it is and how it works. Then I'll talk a little bit about how it is used today in a couple of new technologies. So to begin our discussion of electronic ink, I will first talk about its history. In an interview with the creator of electronic ink, Nick Sheridan, gathered from the Future of Things website, Nick described that he had developed the first version of electronic ink when he was working at Xerox's Palo Alto Research Center in the 1970s. He called this first version Gyrocon. Gyrocon was a simpler version of today's e-ink. It was made up of tiny polyethylene spheres, are colored half black and half white. These spheres were then suspended in oil and embedded in sheets of silicon. Underneath the silicon would be an electronic underlay. And when an electric charge would pass through that underlay, then the spheres would rotate inside the oil in order for the black would rotate to the top in order for an image or word to be displayed on the screen. Unfortunately, this technology was never brought to the consumer market as it was too bulky. Later in 1995, MIT assistant professor Joseph Jacobson and undergraduate Barrett Comiskey started working together to develop their own version of electronic ink, according to an article from the European Patent Office. Within 2 years, they had developed their first version, and it was similar to the first version developed as Gyrocon, in that it used electric charges and particles in order to change the color displayed to a screen. Shortly after that development, Jacobson founded the E-Ink Corporation, which still leads in the e-ink industry today. Over the years, others have tried developing different versions of e-ink, but none have been quite as successful as the E-Ink Corporation. Now I will start to talk about what e-ink is exactly and how it works. So e-ink, the technical term for e-ink, is electrophoretic ink. And it's just a mix of different aspects of chemistry and physics and electronics. And according to information gathered from the E-Ink Corporation's website, e-ink displays are called bistable and reflective. Bistable means that even if you take the battery out of the device, the image can stay there almost indefinitely. The displays of e-ink displays will never consume energy as long as the display remains the same. They only use power when the display changes. Unlike LCD displays, which are commonly found in smartphones and such, which refresh the display multiple times every second and use a lot of power. For example, my Kindle, last time I charged it was probably about a month ago, and it still has almost half of the battery life today. So that bistable display really helps with power consumption, and that is really important in technology nowadays. E-ink displays are also called reflective, meaning they have no backlight like an LCD display that's shining right at your face. And they just rely on the ambient light around you in the room or from the sun if you're outside reading. And this is just similar to reading words off an old piece of paper. And now to demonstrate, I have a Kindle and a regular book here that I'll show you side by side. So here you can see a page on the Kindle next to a regular book. And in the ambient light of this room, they are almost identical. And it's easy to read either one without any eye fatigue like you would get reading a long time from an LCD screen. And now to describe the process of how e-ink works, I will show you a diagram using screen share. So here you can see this is a microcapsule, and there's millions of these tiny things inside e-ink displays. They're filled with a clear liquid, and positively charged white particles along with negatively charged black ones. And then they're sandwiched in between two electrodes. When a positive current will run through the bottom electrode, then the negatively charged black particles are attracted to the bottom there. And when a negatively charged current would go through, then the positively charged white ones would be attracted to the bottom, and the black particles would go to the top, and that would give the appearance of ink on the display of a screen. So the user would see either words or an image displayed when a negatively charged current would go through the bottom electrode. Now, lastly, we'll finish up by talking about how ink is used today in a couple of newer technologies. It's widely known for its use in e-readers, but it's also used in things like smartwatches or billboards or shelf labels or even some smartphones, such as the first technology that I'm going to show you called the Yoda phone. This is the Yoda phone here. As you can see in this display on the left here, it looks like a normal smartphone. It has an LCD screen. Everything would function normally as a smartphone would. But on the back of the phone, you have an e-ink display built in here, meaning that you can browse or do anything on your normal display here. And if you find something really long that you want to read, you can just send it to your back display, which will turn the front one off. And then that will save you a lot of battery while reading something, and less strain on your eyes also. Now, the second technology is these electronic shelf labels. These examples are just grocery store labels, but they could be used in any store that has shelf labels. And these are unique and interesting because they allow the store to immediately update the labels for changes in prices or to inform customers of sales. This will allow regular stores to keep up better with online competition, as they can immediately get all the information to customers right on the shelves there. And in conclusion, today we have talked about the origins and development and history of electronic ink. And then we went into what exactly electronic ink is and how it works. And we talked a little bit about how it's used today in a couple of newer technologies. So that's all I have for you today. I will include my sources in the description box below the video. And thank you for watching.